Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Deanne Castro, Creative Memories Advisor, and I'm so excited because I get to show you a scrapbook border with the new National Scrapbook Day paper. It came out early for advisors so we could purchase it and play with it, show it to you guys, but it is going to be available for purchase on our websites starting actually today, starting the 24th February, you can get it on our websites. If you don't have an advisor, feel free to check it out on my channel. I'm sorry, my webpage. And but please get it from your advisor if you've got one already. So, and if you'd like to share what you have made from my ideas, go ahead and ask to join my Let's Scrapbook with Deanne Facebook group. And hopefully we can start sharing some ideas on there. Okay, so let's get started. I have this border. I'm so excited about this border. This was so much fun. It was created using the Flower Pots border punch with the National Scrapbook Day products. So get yours from your advisor. Today, you can get it today. Okay, so this is what we're going to make today. And I'm going to show you how to kind of do the shading with the punch and the double layer. I have done this sort of idea on another YouTube video. So if you like this one, check out the other one. There's probably a couple of them using the double folded punch technique. But let's get started. Okay, so the first paper I'm going to use is going to be this paper. There's all kinds of different papers in these packs. There's two different packs. There's the accessory paper pack, and there's the project recipe paper pack. I've kind of mixed and matched these papers to make this border. This isn't all of them. There's 6 different papers in each of those 2 packs, but this is the one I'm going to start with. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my scoring blade, and I'm going to score this piece of paper at 1 1/4 inches. And it is directional. So I'm going to turn it this way so that when I turn it back upright, the direction will be correct. I'm going to score it at 1 1/4 inches. Okay. Get it as straight as you can. Press down, not too hard. You don't want to cut through the paper, just enough where you're going to be able to fold it. And then I'm going to put the regular blade back in. And I'm going to cut it at 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so I scored it at 1 1/4, and I'm going to cut it at 2 1/2. That's going to make it even on each side. Okay, pull this out, and I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, now the important part with this fold is making sure when you put it in the punch that you kind of slide it along gently. You can use some repositionable tape to help hold it down a little bit. In fact, I may do that this time. I don't always do it, but just for the sake of trying to keep this down, it'll help then also when I'm going to put it on to the border. Now, this border punch, when you put the paper in, you want to start it at either this right mark or the left mark, depending on which way you want to pull the paper through. Once you've punched it the first time, you're going to line it up and make sure that all the blue, depending on which side you're pulling the paper through, is covered as you pull the punch through. Okay. Now, when you put this paper in here, you're going to want the fold on the bottom. Okay. Fold on the bottom, not on the top. And as you can see, if you push it all the way in, you can't see where the edge is. Okay. Here's a trick. Take a Post-it note. Okay. And just line it up along the edge of the paper, like so. Okay, so it's lined right up along the edge here. So when you put the paper in the punch, push it all the way back, you'll be able to see where the edge is. Okay, super, super cool trick. So line it up against the line and punch it. Okay, now gently move it across. It's going to want to get stuck on you. It's going to want to pop up. And then you're going to want to cover all of the blue. Push the whichever side that's full against the back. Line it up and cover all of the blue. That way you know that it is cut. It's going to cut straight on here, okay? So line it up, punch it, gently pull it through again. Wanted to catch there on me. I'm going to throw that away because I don't need it anymore. Punch. And we're just going to punch it all the way across. Okay, wanted to catch there. Be careful. Okay, and match up the pattern. And make sure the paper was straight there. And okay, gently pull it out. And there you have your border double punched with the edge. Isn't that cool? Okay, now a little bit more of what we're going to do. I'm going to trim this tiny bit off. Okay. And now I'm going to get rid of all the stuff from underneath the punch that I don't need. This little piece had a little bit of repositionable tape on it, so it doesn't want to come off. Okay. Now I'm going to unfold this. So some of you may just like the way it is unfolded. You can put it on just a border that way if you want. Isn't that cool? Double punched. I'll turn it over so you can see it with just the full color on it. And that little bit of repositionable tape is kind of holding it together. Okay, I guess I put a little too much on there. Use my multi-purpose tool here, loosen that up. Okay, so see how that's punched, double punched all the way down. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now to get it to where it looks like you've got kind of a little bit of a background on there, you're going to fold it a little different way and then fold it over. You can fold it over and just adhere it plain, or you can put foam squares in it. This actually does have the small half-size foam squares that were available in the adhesive buffet recently. And then there's also another layer back here with some brown paper. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up here along the bottom, just right here along the bottom where the fold is not. The fold is in the middle, but I'm going to fold it to where the pots are going to give a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to put it all the way from end to end on the bottom down there. And then I'm going to take my multi-purpose tool and I'm going to lift the paper up against the edge of the ruler and fold it. Okay, so I've lined my ruler up along the edge of that paper here, right against that bottom, and now I folded this up against the ruler. I'm going to do that all the way across. Okay, so fold it up and bend it. Okay, just get it all just so that I can bend it easier when I pull the ruler off. I'm so excited to show this to you guys. I love this. It is so pretty. Okay, almost done. All right, I'm going to take the ruler off. It does have a little bit of repositionable tape on it, so it's going to stay sort of stuck. Okay. Now I'm going to fold these edges over. See this bottom fold that I have right here? There's a fold in the middle, but I want this bottom fold that folded right along that bottom line. And when I push that up, it's going to give that back dimension to it, okay? Same with this one. It's going to give that dimension. All right? So now I'm going to put some foam squares in here. And that way it's going to hold it up a little bit higher, give it a little more dimension. You can just adhere it flat if you'd like. I'm not always a fan of foam squares because they do kind of make your books a little thick if you use a lot of them. But I just want to show you the difference here. And you don't want to put these up too high because the fold is going to come down. So you don't want the foam square to show. Okay, so put these down low enough where it's not going to show. Let's see. That one's a little high. Make sure it's down towards the bottom. Okay. I'm going to see if I can lift this one up and move it down a little bit. Well, I kind of squished it doing that, but let's see if I can unsquish it. And put it down further. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take off the paper on the top. Let go. Okay, and fold the pieces over. This is so cool. I love this effect. If you didn't want as much of the top paper to show, you could fold it up a little bit higher. Granted, it doesn't want to go down. You don't want to do it down the middle because the middle just makes it right back on top of each other. But you can fold it up a little bit higher so you don't have as much of the back paper showing. But you can do this with a lot of different papers. Okay, I did it with a lot of different colors. Here's one. So it had the brown as the back piece of the paper, and I just folded it up. Here's another one that had green as the back side of the paper. Okay, so it works with a lot of the different colors. I just happen to really like the yellow for this one. Okay, then the last thing that you need to do is cut a piece of brown with that punch so that you can put it in the back of these so that they stand out better. So see how I did this? I just added some brown. You can use some brown cardstock. You can use some of the brown paper that came in the pack, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to punch this one more time. Not going to fold it. I only need one piece. So I'm going to line it up with the line here on the right and move it over and line it up with all the blue, cover the blue. That way I know it's going to punch evenly all the way across. And the last one. And there we go. Now I only need the pot part. So I'm going to cut this off right here at the bottom. And you don't even need the full pot piece. But I'm cutting it down far enough so it can give it a little bit of color most of the way down on the border. Separate these so I can pick them up easier. Just cut them all off. Okay, so those are all cut. I don't need this piece. You could use it as a base on your page or something if you want to keep it, but I didn't cut it super even, so I'm not going to save it. Okay. Now what I want to do is put some adhesive on the back of these. And then actually on the front of these, because these are going to go on the back of the piece that we just folded. Okay, so you're just going to want to lift it up and put these so it just shows somewhat of a shadow. Oh, I did this wrong. Okay, see how these don't match evenly? What I meant to tell you was you need to turn the paper over. So I'm going to redo this and recut these. But this time, see, why didn't that work? Anyway, okay, so I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to punch it. And that way, when I turn it over, it will match the border going across. All right, so I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Hold on just a second. So I went ahead and I cut the paper. When I punched it from the back side. So, because when I turn it over, then the pattern will match this pattern. All right. So I have the adhesive on it, and I'm going to, see, that works better, doesn't it? Put that on there just so a little bit of the shadow shows, and do this all the way across. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make it approximate. Because anytime you see a shadow, the shadows are usually a little off anyway, depending on where the sun is shining through them. And just do this all the way across. Oops. I love this effect. It is a little time consuming, but it's really not difficult. Okay, and the last part. All right, so now we've got the shadow behind it. And once we put it on the paper, then that yellow will show up a lot better. Okay? All right, now we need to take the next couple of pieces and cut the border. And I'm actually using the pinking blade. This is one of the newer blades. It's sold out, but it's supposed to be back, I think, next month. But you can use any decorative blade that you'd like. So set this out of the way. So let's see. Actually, I want to bring this back. I want to see what this looks like. I am going to switch these. See, this one has this paper behind it, but I think I'm going to switch to this one and see what it looks like, just to do something different. So this piece needs to be 2 1/4 inches. So that one side is already cut with the pinking blade. So now both sides are cut with this blade. I had already used it on another piece of paper. But if you have it straight, you're just going to take a tiny bit off the edge, cut it once, and then measure it to 2 1/4 inches. Now I've also got this piece of this avocado paper already cut. So this one is going to be 2 1/2 inches. Put this at 2 1/2. And then the last piece, again, because I made the other border, I already have this piece, this side cut. So this one is going to be 2 3/4 inches. So just go up 1/4 inch. And also make sure that when you've cut this, you've got it cut, you've pushed down hard enough that it cuts through and you can pull the paper apart. If not, once you've moved it, it makes it really difficult to put it back on there, and you'd have to probably try to recut it anyway. Okay, done with the cutting. So I'm going to put these together. Put the avocado in the middle. You guys don't need a lot of adhesive. Make sure you're saving money on your adhesives by not putting tons of adhesive on there. If it's Korean Memories, it's permanent. You're not going to need to use a lot of adhesive. Okay. And this side. Center it on there, just eyeball it. Okay, and we've got the base done. Now, before we put this on here, to get it to curve like I did, I'm just gonna like pinch these center things together. So I'm just gonna kind of pinch it and twist it. Okay, so it just kind of gives it a little pinch in there. This is gonna allow it to curve for you, just a little bit. Okay, so just kind of pinch it together. Gives it a little dimension. And this way it's going to be able to curve for you. Okay. Kind of just like this. You can pinch it and fold it in there if you want. You don't really need to, but just kind of pinch it together. All the way across. Okay, so once you've got those kind of pinched, now it's going to move for you and it will curve. Wow, just like that. Pretty easy. Okay, so let's put some adhesive on the back. Get it so it'll stick down really well. Going to put a little bit of repositionable tape on the top of these leaves so that they stay down. And just kind of mold it however I want it to curve, starting at the corners. Isn't that pretty? I love this. I love it. So look how it really easily kind of curved for you once you've I don't know, pressed those in, pinched those in. It just curved really easy. Then the last part is figure out what embellishment or embellishments you might want to add to it. This is really cool. I really like all of these herbs. I'm gonna plant her right here. Or this one, Grown with Love. It's a little tall, but it would still work. So here, I'm gonna pull this up here for you so you can see it. So this is one of the embellishments in the pack, Grown with Love. Isn't that pretty? Or this one is the bunch of herbs in pots with this right here in the middle. Or you can add as many other embellishments as you would like on here. Pretty. I like that one. So I am going to put foam squares on this because I had foam squares in here. I want it to be able to stand up a little higher. So I'm going to put some fairly large foam squares on here. Now, again, these were the smaller foam squares that they're not quite as thick as the others. So check with your advisor. She probably still has some in stock. I have a few if you can't find any, but I'm going to put this right in the center. And adhere it to the border. And there it's done. Isn't that cool? So here's two different ways using two different papers so you can see which way you may like it. Let me grab another piece of paper. And so this was the original one I started with. And we can add this to the bottom, maybe a little busy. Okay, so, and then you can put your photos all over the top with your journaling box. Please make sure you put the who, what, when, where about your photos on your pages, because one of these days, a few years from now, or a lot of years from now, people are going to want to know who was in the photos and why you took those photos, why they were important to you. Okay. Um, if you don't like that one, that's a little busy. You can use the other side, line it up, put this on the bottom, and there you've got a full page. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. And just make sure you, for the background, for the brown background shadowing on your border, you turn the paper over. If it's cardstock, it's not going to make any difference because it's the same color on each side. But turn it over, punch it, and then it will be the right orientation for the shadow. Okay? I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them on um, the little boxes below. Okay? Thank you. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.